chance if Gen G beats RNG, but we'll get to that another time. Spawn, we are into picks and bans.
Yeah, we certainly are, and right now I want to see how Cloud9 go, because I do agree that there are certain parts of the map they should be reactive. I think it is primarily around the bottom lane. However, Licorice at the moment is playing like a man possessed. His awareness is on another level when it comes to where his team needs him. And I think that Cloud9 need to empower their rookie, the player that has been the most consistent over this year.
And it looks like Vitality is showing respect towards the top laner of Cloud9. Both Aatrox and Urgot taken off the board, whereas Cloud9 denying away the Aurelia. Perhaps not a specific target ban, but she is considered one of the strongest champions in the current meta game. And there's the LeBlanc respect being thrown towards Jizuke as well. This does leave things like the Alistar open, which I believe Vitality should look to ban away based on Zeyzal's previous game performance.
It is gone. All the bot laners, as far as the farmers are left up, and Xayah right away locked in for Cloud9 Sneaky.
Now, G2 answered the Xayah Rakan with things like the Jhin Tahm Kench, but with Tahm Kench taken off the board, do you then look to try and deny the Rakan, or do you find some other answers? Some have considered Morgana to be a pretty solid pick as a response, but we all know some even consider Thresh to be a good answer as well.
I was going to say Vitality's Draven and Thresh are available in the champions that have been doing so well for them today. And Draven is locked in. Attila. And there's the Thresh as well. Who would have guessed it anything else? That dynamic duo has had quite the world so far and could send them to top 8.
And this is what you must love about Yamato as a coach, the ability to empower his players to take comfort in the biggest games of the year for this squad. That is such a brave move for Vitality to go to at this stage of the game. I mean, things like Nautilus we've seen used against the Draven. It's just a whole open playbook, and yet he still trusts his bottom lane.
Yes, he certainly does, and we'll see how the rest of the draft progresses as Cloud9 going for the flex with the Shen. We saw them do it earlier in the day. They can move it down to that support position, or Licorice can play it to great effect, but Sven Skaren, he's going to be paired up with the Shen by using the Nocturne.
This is always what I love at tournaments like Worlds, where the bans were the typical S-tier cream of the crop, is because it allows the teams to play their style of champion. Who else wants to play Draven, Thresh, everything else on the table? Who else wants to play Nocturne, Shen every single game? Vitality and Cloud9 are playing their premier compositions, the best styles for their own teams to lock that spot at 4-2 into the quarterfinals.
Oh, it's, you know, you can't really ask for anything else if you're a Western fan.
No.
Vitality sticking to their style, Cloud9 sticking to theirs. Neither mid laner has been locked in yet. Jizuke, who's had a fantastic tournament so far, will be going up against Jensen, who's been playing out of his mind today.
And that's what I want to talk about. How much is Jensen feeling it right now? Is he willing to go at the Italian Stallion? Is this going to be another carry pick? Because this is eerily similar to the comp that Cloud9 beat Gen G with earlier today. And in that matchup, the catalyst to get them going in the right direction was the mid laner of Cloud9.
But a lot of Jensen's picks are not allowed right now. The LeBlanc was banned away by them specifically. And blinding Syndra can always be scary. That's kind of the benefit of red side, is you can always counterpick at least one of those lanes. Waiting to see if Shen goes bot or top lane. Vitality will have to pick one champion for themselves. Of course, the Sion already there. I expect a jungle next up as we see the Taliyah banned away here.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what direction Kikis will go. I'd be surprised if we saw something like the Kindred, but against what is already a pretty strong dive onto the backline comp, that Kindred ultimate can offer a lot of value. He may choose to go for a Lee Sin, but he's actually going a little old school. The champion that we really haven't seen much during the World Championship after his nerf on recent patches.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, I just want to see Kikis go something that goes forward. I was looking for a Lee Sin or something like even a Jarvan to be able to take over this game, because if this comp gets rolling in the frontline direction, they are going to be good. But are they all that great at going backwards with the exception of Thresh? Not really the case.
Ooh, and Zillion to make the dive even friendly. Does this unlock champions like Akali? Does it unlock harder carries in the top lane, or does it signal more hard engage with a champion like Ornn with the Shen going in the bottom lane? There's lots of ways C9 can shift this composition from 1 to 2 to 3 carries.
Freak, do you really get more Cloud9 than this?
Oh!
No,
you do not get more Cloud9 than this!
This is the Cloud9 draft. The amazing record that they had during the regular season. Jensen on the Zillion. The staple Singed top lane for Cloud9.
And the Echo!
Oh, this
the
is
one
so
that started it all!
Oh.
Jizuke, when he got his upset win over Genji back in week 1, it was the Echo. It's his 3rd game on the champion in summer, counting Worlds, and it's now do or die up against C9, and he's got it locked in.
And they just throw it all out the window. All the prep, they just get rid of it, and they say, for this game, we go back to comfort, and you have to respect it, because this is how these teams got to this stage in the first place.
Yep. They played their style, they played what works for them. They said, forget the meta, forget perfect League of Legends. We're all about picking what we know. And right now, that has gotten both these teams to 2-0 in the second round robin of this group.
One of these teams is going undefeated on their road to the top 8 at Worlds 2018. They were not expected to, and yet here they are.
And the final pump-up speech,
Yeah,
you just
you
saw
know
it right there.
it's
The
come-
wavy, the book. Reaper is like, just come shake my hand. The game's about to start. But Yamato sends his team in with a message, and I think that is going to be maintain the aggression, maintain the game plan.
I am so excited, gentlemen. We're going to be jumping into this game very soon. You said it, Freak. The winner of this moves on to the quarterfinals. The first team at this World Championship to lock in top 8.
And the last time these teams met, it was probably the biggest comeback of Worlds this year. A massive effort by C9 to take down Vitality there. And I thought maybe that was the only win North America would get from this group. C9 were projected as potentially the number 4 down here, but I have the chance of being number 1. Of course, so does Vitality after some incredible performances from a bunch of year-in rookies. C9 versus Vitality, North America and Europe to lock the first spot in the top 8, and it is comfort down the line for each player.
And to tell the story of this Cloud9 squad, having to come in as North America's 3rd seed after a disastrous year, then struggling through the play-in stage. Early on in the group, it looked like they were only going to be able to grab victories off the other end of, out of the clutches of defeat. But today, they've turned it around. They've started that comeback. And maybe the biggest potential.
Vitality doing level 1.
Insane.
They're going to steal away the red buff. Caboshot is
Oh,
going
he's in behind him. He's just going to kill him.
No.
He can channel Q onto Zazel. They can get a first blood. I love Vitality's level 1s. It was so good. It was so good against RNG. They're going to try it against C9. Smack into the face. There's the hook. Absolutely beautiful, but Zazel flashes away.
Woo! Caboshot, he uses his flash to get in behind Zazel. They set up the trap, but they aren't able to find first blood. It will result in a likely red buff going in the favor of Vitality, but already, NA versus EU off to some bloodthirsty stuff.
But it's just a flash for the flash.
You're right, yeah, that's the ironic thing.
It was very early on. He's going to be able to get back before the lane. They might fight for round 2, however, at this red buff.
Yeah, got to see where the Nocturne heads to. Some feathers come out from Sneaky. Knows with his lethal tempo, no one's in that brush, but Sven knows the rebel's being hit. The fight for the smite, and it's, gonna go to Kikis just barely. The pillar in the way is gonna make it a bit harder for Svenskeren, and either way, Kikis at least a full camp ahead. And he's not gonna fight for the Raptors. They're gonna let the one go over.
And Svenskeren choosing not to trade. He could have moved up towards the top side, maybe traded enemy red for his red, but now he's like a full level behind because Kikis is able to steal away that red buff along with the Raptor camp.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not only the red buff, but the fact that Sven didn't go topside after that. In a matchup with Echo, you lose all control of mid lane push at level 1, and you can see that this is going to become punishing.
And yeah, Kikis running straight towards the enemy blue buff now. I thought that he would just try and trade for Scuttle, but he wants to get in the enemy face. Jack Troll now level 2.
Level 2 first for Jack, but keep in mind there's no flash available. It is going to be an early first blood. Zazel dropped the 200, one more axe hits him. And this is such a great start, and now Kikis inside the jungle just bullying Svenskeren, but Licorice is coming down. This could be a 3v1 against Kikis. He's still fighting. He's 2 hits away from the kill. A forced flash, and now it's Jensen forced away by Jizuke. This early game is so incredible for Vitality. Jizuke getting low, under 100 HP. Will it be the chase? A slow. Licorice wants in. The flash away. And he's trying. The bomb means first blood. He's gonna go down. Time winds down. Jensen gets it.
And Kikis tries to battle ward, tries to get in Svenskeren's face. We're not done.
Ooh, that is a bad taunt. The flame means a lot of setup. Zazel dropped to 100. The flash. And until it catches in for plus 137. What a game.
What is this game? Kills all across the board. Flashes used left, right, and center. Oh my
We're
word.
not done.
Awesome
We're
guys.
not done. done. He's got Smite. This is Fence for sure. And he can walk away.
Okay.
There's not enough mana to do much for Kikis.
All right, let's take a very, very quick breather, gentlemen. Where do we recap? Where do we start?
We start at 80 seconds into the game where the flash through the wall from Cabo Shard set up a flash trade.
But the biggest thing off the back end of all the kills is that the lanes are starting to go in Vitality's favor, that it is Vitality that has the push across the board, and they're starting to go up in CS. So whilst this game is all about the kills on paper, it's actually the laning phase which is helping Vitality.
Now, Jizuke here recognized that he did not have enough damage to get the kill onto Jensen. He thinks that he can use his E to take advantage of where the Scuttle Crab is to get out, then realizes the Scuttle Crab isn't quite where I want it, and then the chase comes down from Jensen and Licorice. Meanwhile, while all that action is happening around the mid lane, Zeyzal tries to taunt Jackal underneath the tower, messes up, and gets chain CC to allow Attila to find the kill, flash in, and get a nice early payday in the 2v2.
Really nice stuff by him. The first recall is going to come through for Sneaky as he shoves in the cannon wave. Takes a bit of extra time, but double long sword for him. Attila, of course, going to be a lot richer here and pretty close to his BF sword when he finally pulls the trigger on that recall. You can see he's already got the money for that, plus refillable or any of the small trinkets he wants to pick up there.
Now, while we've seen so much action in the early game, we've also got to think about what it means to the compositions of these two teams, because Vitality, Draven, Echo, they want to be ahead. Draven snowballs extremely well with just a tiny bit of gold. Echo wants to be that split push threat. So the sooner he gets those items, the sooner he can move off to a side lane, and the sooner he can do what Jizuke does best. Whereas for C9, you kind of expect them to fall behind in the early laning phase, but the scaling is kind of where they come into their own.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they do have the ability to attack side lanes because they do have things like the Singed as well as the Nocturne Shem combo who's going to fly in. It's about being able to pick your time on the map. You don't want to give too much away in response. You have the ability to generate these picks, just needs to be with the right setup.
And the first recalls have come off for the top laners now. They both save TP, both the Licorice Singed and the Cabo Shard Shen. They are armed up. They are ready to go if there's a fight in the bottom side. With how aggressive these players have been, this seems likely. Both junglers now shadowing down here. Kikis spotted on the ward, puts down a control it himself, finds on the hook. This could be the fight right away. A taunt, a lot of damage. Zeyzal forced on a turret. He's going to stay alive, and no TP's burned. They're going to stay up just yet. But still looking around. Kikis, you can see here behind the side. He puts the TP down. They're going to go for the play right away, and it's going to be a stop.
Ooh.
Licorice has stopped the Cabo Shard teleport, and that's going to be a cooldown now forced.
Yeah, people forget so often that Singed Scoop is now a grounded ability. If you throw it under that teleport, it puts it on the full cooldown. So Cabo didn't cancel that himself. It was Licorice with the heads-up play. Redware, Cabo wanted to be able to go, but still the pressure is on. Still you have the pushing lane and Vitality first to these plays.
But that was crucial as well. We will get a replay of what happened. Cabo Shard just going into the brush to try and get the TP, and there it is, exactly as you described, Spawn. The interrupt coming in from Licorice. Huge save towards the bot side, kind of slowing down this snowball from Vitality.
No, Vitality aren't really happy to stop right now. Still up 800 gold. They're invading yet again for this red buff the second time around. And Svenskeren sees that it's been aggroed, and he's like, I don't have control of much of anything here. A 3 vs 2 as Zeyzal comes in. Jensen will join, but there's already an Echo. This is pretty good numbers for Vitality. Taunt's gonna land. This could be some good damage. The dodge zone, and Sneaky finds the kill on Kikis. There's no smite left, and Attila can't do much of this. The smite comes through. Svenskeren gets it. Jizuke's around. Watch for the ultimate. He's not going to go for this one here, able to jump over the wall and stay safe.
But this is the thing, they were first to the play, but there is so much straight line AoE CC that is available in the C9 lineup. And with Jensen already at that level 6 mark, you need to make sure you're not going aggressive. Vitality is playing that game on the razor's edge, and they're tipping off a little bit at the moment.
And this ties into what the analyst desk was saying. You don't need to try and force against Cloud9 because you know they're going to do it to you. You just have to be ready to react. And in this instance, they prepared for the Vitality invade onto the red buff, and C9 respond accordingly. They find themselves another kill, but the gold's still very even.
This is a nice bit of damage there from Jizuke. Not able to follow through with the Q as it was on cooldown. As Jensen clears the wave, and they're 1 CS apart in the mid side. Top lane +4 for Cabo Shard, and of course, plus a lot down here as Attila's up 23, as I can actually count numbers, and I know what the tens place is.
And when you look at what a 1-3-1 comp is able to do, there's multiple areas you attack. You can either attack a side lane, something like if the Echo goes down top lane or bottom lane, maybe try and take him out. The other area you can potentially look to aggress upon is the mid lane, where the 3 is going to be. We've seen teams like C9 actually in this tournament not respect that, get forced on and go down. They have such a good comp at just being able to run at Attila, at Jack Troll, especially with the grounded of the super mega adhesive. Much like G2 in their victory, Vitality are going to need to play a flawless 1-3-1 to win this game.
They certainly are, and in order to do that, the AD carries are going to be vital. We saw how great Attila was earlier in the day on his Draven. Sneaky has been coming up clutch with the Sivir, and I just feel like both AD carries have shown a huge amount of growth throughout this tournament. You can just see, in terms of the damage per minute, in terms of their kills, Sneaky is actually up there because he has been drafting himself those Sivir, those more teamfight comps, whereas Attila is much more about the skirmish, getting in your face, finding those kills. And
damage per minute is a great stat until Draven hits you with 1 axe and does 70% of your health, and you can't even fight him at that point. So don't underestimate what Attila has been able to do for the Vitality lineup today, and he is once again building himself a huge advantage in that bottom lane.
It's looking pretty good, but the game overall is tied as we wait again for what might happen down on this side of the map. Cloud9, one extra kill making up for farm leads in most of these roles here. Kikis is actually safe, able to walk through this Trubbish. Sneaky could be face checking, puts the ward down, and he has to ult to get away from the hook. And what is he going to wait for here as Jackal's going to knock down the control ward, no problem. Vitality forcing a very big cooldown out of a potential target in that Sneaky Xayah.
you can see how much vision Vitality is investing towards the bot side of the map because they want to allow Attila and Jack Troll to just keep pushing in this 2 versus 2. They're very conscientious of the potential Svenskeren gank, and they're doing what they can to mitigate it.
Looking good for Cabochard as the Summoner Spellbook goes over to Summoner Heal, and Licorice keeps himself healthy enough as TP back available for too long, and we wait to see what comes next for this one. Still very tight, and these teams trading blows. The first major move now for Vitality, I should say second after the first couple of kills, is this Infernal Drake going over without incident, and Team Vitality pulling a small lead in the first 10 minutes.
And they've just done a beautiful job of repetitively visiting this bottom lane, putting them under pressure, shoving into the turret, which allows Kikis, this time not an aggressive invade, but the Dragon, and this time it isn't contested. Cabo now takes all of the pressure he's built top lane, tries to float it towards mid, now looking to pressure onto Jensen as well. They really do play an impactful, high pressure game. And it seems like it's going to be no different this time against Cloud9.
Well, looking bot lane once again, they saw Svenskeren topside by Scuttle. They can infer his path from there, and Kikis is already on the way down. There's a ward, but it doesn't see him now. It does, and they're aware of what the dives could be. Jensen can TP, Licorice cannot, but Jizuke can join as well. There's the pillar, and there's a nice hook on the front line. This could be big damage. Zazel forced away. He might go down. The stopwatch buys a few seconds, but Jizuke's on the case, and he ults right back out. Another kill in the tower dive for Vitality, but there's a re-engage. C9 not going to get the fear, though. Kikis holds the front line. The bomb's not going to land for much. The flash forward. Licorice wants in. They're grounded. And go to your room. Vitality going to lose too. Nice pickups there as the revive comes in. C9 win that trade.
And again, the reactive playmaking from Cloud9 enables them to come out ahead of Vitality. Cabochard did not have his TP available because it was interrupted versus the cancel of Licorice. He could join the fight in the bot side of the map. And because of the stopwatch coming out from Zazel, he bought enough time for Vitality to overcommit for too long to allow Licorice to come in and C9 find themselves 2 kills.
And this is the danger of the win-all play. They don't try to force them off the turret. They're not looking for the first brick. Instead, it is just out-and-out aggression. It looks fantastic, as you mentioned. It starts off with a pillar into the hook combo. They have the earlier rotation from Jizuke coming down, but the aforementioned stopwatch, the teleport in from both members of this Cloud9 lineup quickly turns that fight.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you can just see how the slows as well from Jensen to then setting up this double stun bomb was beautifully executed. And while Svenskeren should have lost his life, the revival from Zilean comes through as well. And now C9 sit on a goal lead, even after being so far behind in the early lane.
And that's why this composition becomes so terrifying, because if they do get ahead, and if Cloud9 are running at you, how do you stop them? You've got a Singe, you got yourself the Nocturne diving into the back line with a Shen, with a Zilean, with all of the speed up and the control that this team is going to mention, not to mention one of the safest AD carries in the game. That's why it's going to be crucial for Vitality to start breaking down the map and start separating the pieces to this Cloud9 puzzle.
Cabochard's in a good spot right now. He just finished his Abyssal Mask. He's really good at surviving Licorice, so instead, the Singe will proxy. Not a decent time of that, but look at this in the bottom lane. The pressure finally paying off. A big gold swing as first turret of the game goes over to Attila, and this Draven can continue to be rich. He's been stacking up for a while, 5,500 gold, more than anyone else on the map. No one else starts with a 5.
And look at how healthy the turret is for Caboshard. So whilst they're also going to get themselves the Rift Herald at this stage, they're going to try and clear out the wave. They're going to try and continue pushing bottom lane and just continue to try and build this lead.
Now, the ulti there from Attila was an attempt to try and steal away the Rift Herald, but the fact that it hit Jensen means that it bounced back earlier than intended, so they weren't able to spot out how quickly the Rift Herald was going down. C9 safely secure it, but due to some good play from Cabo, he buys time top, and Vitality were able to secure themselves another tower bomb.
They're getting a lot more out of this split push. C9 moved their dual lane away, but the outer turret was first turret gold already. Tier 2 already fell down. C9 are very much slower on this play. Licorice will eventually come to join some gold, but Vitality, a team that had pretty much struggles with their mid game in the EULCS, having very good mid games here at Worlds, looking for a little bit more to do, as that top lane turret will not fall. And now the knock up, the ult out from Sneaky. Jizuke gonna be rooted up, but they don't quite have the damage to kill him. He has the ult, he walks back, no problem. And no harm, no foul. A red buff steal, but still the turret lead to Vitality.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that was with the Rift Herald burnt. Not going to be able to pick up that second turret because you feel the first one was already a gimme for the Cloud9 lineup, just a second charge. And now, Vitality have that ability, whether it's the Echo, whether it's the Scion, to put it into the elongated lane, park the Draven and the Thresh mid lane, and start to just try and squeeze the pressure into Cloud9.
All said and done, 600 gold difference. The 2 kills doing work for Cloud9 as far as gold's concerned, but that Infernal Drake, of course, still very valuable.
And now we have to watch for the windows that Cloud9 have, because we were very critical of the Flash Wolves game, the inability to create plays. Well, this lineup of Shen, Nocturne, Singed does it much more successfully than what we saw out of the Flash Wolves. So as the waves start to push out, as they get control, look for things like this. Licorice floating his pressure towards the mid lane, trying to stop Attila and Troll from playing up and regain control of their jungle.
Also keep your eyes on the Drake that's going to be spawning in about a minute's time. The TP is currently unavailable for Jizuke, and he is sitting in the top side of the map. He will not be able to join this fight, but Jensen's in the same position. So both top laners, who is able to move down first will be a big indicator of who will have priority and who will be able to set up for the fight.
And you can see that when Cloud9 don't have one of their side laners collapsing, they have to catch the turret at the wave at the turret. And the amount of pressure that they now gain on the side of Vitality, clearing out vision, setting up good control for Jizuke. And if they're able to continue that around things like Baron, things like these dragons that are spawning, it just becomes a matter of time before Cloud9 feel like they have to check one of them and then can lose.
Well, Drake spawning up in 4 seconds and 4 minutes until that Baron is up and waiting. And Vitality are the ones on the aggressive side, are the ones able to make the plays, pushing in lots of places here. C9 defending mid. They can start taking turret shots. There's one from Attila, a couple hundred health off that turret now.
And it's really important to note that Attila pretty much has all the gold lead on Vitality right now. Jensen is ahead, Svenskeren is ahead, Licorice is about even, but the fact that Attila is a whole level above Sneaky, the fact that he has just under 2,000 gold in his back pocket, he's going to be a big part of trying to turn this game in the favor of Vitality, because while they hold on to the gold lead, it does feel like that Cloud9 are the one dictating the pace of the game for the time being.
And it was a lot of the pressure that Attila and Jack Troll had on that bottom lane turret that started this play, that started the swap into the top lane and was able to generate that turret gold. So it really is the player to highlight right now. Jizuke, as he gets more items, will turn into the same pest that he was the last time he had the Echo. But for now, Draven in the mid lane is where eyes should be.
We'll keep watching Attila. Can he help lead Vitality to this spot, to the first team to qualify for the quarterfinals at Worlds 2018? The winner is guaranteed. Could be first seed. That depends on the other result today. And still Vitality up 1,000 gold. And Licorice burning his ghost to go for a trade here. Going to get some damage onto Caboshard. And the team's starting to come down as well. The Shen and the Xayah are walking down, maybe as a kill, hopefully as a trade. Now the ulti coming across, and it's going to be some long-term drifting. As all the way down to the back of the base, and he's going to keep moving. Cabochard going to be hard to kill, and meanwhile, the base is under attack as the mid lane's being attacked. Here comes the teleports in. Into the front line they go. Atanta in the stuns. Coming across. Who will be the first kill? Jack Troll will drop a Svenskeren as well. A giant stun. Will they catch Zeyzal? He'll be revived by Jensen. And we're in a 4v4 across the map. Jizuke jumping away, but he's burned most of his cooldowns. Can there be a chase? A great pillar for Gekis means no, as the solo kill finally came through for Licorice. A 2-for-1 trade for C9 as mid lane turret stays alive.
I just love the left of stream. All the while that fight is happening, Licorice is chasing Cabo, but the inability of Jensen to save Svenskeren was nearly disastrous in that fight. Still, Cloud9 able to press onto this middle turret.
This could be a threat. He's going to get the pillar, but not push Jensen the way he wanted to. C9 able to walk away from this one. They should get turret out of this and get themselves very much tied in gold.
But I really like the response here from Cloud9. They're the ones that use the Nocturne ultimate to try and punish the 3-man in mid. They force Jizuke to TP down. Cabo cannot get involved in the fight, which means that there's no real frontline available to Vitality. And because they have the revival from the Zillion, it means that it's very easy to swing this fight in your favor.
And this is what Globals do for you, because they had attacked bottom lane, but the rotation back is quicker than expected out of Vitality. They thought they had more time to hit the turret. That is not the case. They use both the Globals to get the key members involved and try and win this fight.
Yeah, and I do think that Svenskeren was maybe slightly out of range, which is why you didn't see the ultimate coming out from Zillion. And while all that action was going on, Licorice, I believe he may have even gone back to base, bought an item, and he's just here finding the solo kill down onto Cabochard. And the longer this game goes, the harder it's going to be for Cabo to deal with Licorice off in a side lane. As Singed, he's going to keep building AP and just get more and more obnoxious.
Liandry's Torment got a huge buff coming into Worlds. I expected to see a lot more Liandry's champions like the Singed, like the Malzahar come through into this World. That so far has not been true, but that item spike is coming soon for Licorice, and he will absolutely cut through Cabochard's extended health bar with a % health burn that comes out of Liandry's.
Not only that, the synergy with one of Singe's best items in the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, which is not that bad. For an item that is not built all that often, it is so incredibly gold efficient and has one of the most annoying passives in the game, I think is a fair way to put it. Just synergizes well with Singe's kit.
But the game, of course, still close, and Attila has been stacking up that adoration. A kill for him will be almost thousands now as mid is under fire, and C9 having a hard time defending. This could be a big stun, and he's going to go in finding one, but there will not yet be a kill towards Zeyzal. Ult is down, and the re-engage. They can't quite get him, but he's still on the run. The health bar is low. One more hit would do him in, but no one could get in range. Here comes Licorice, and is it a taste that Vitality want? The team fight is on. Underneath the ruins of a turret, Licorice staying alive, popping a stop punch, but he was already ulted. He gets pulled back in and just barely revives. This will be a kill as the one of the Trundle goes down a 5v4, and as Vitality routed away.
And every time Vitality tried to fight, C9 shut them down. It is not good enough to go even against this C9 composition again because of this Zillion. Every time you trade 1 for 1, it's actually a 1 for 0. The Zillion ult coming up clutch, keeping Licorice alive, giving him the freedom to dive onto the backline, and C9 now finally reclaim control over the gold lead.
And you can just see how frustrating this must be. Jizuke on one of the one of the most powerful burst mages in the game, looking for the dive, looking for the playmaking that has made him such an electric player all worlds long. Now we'll go for it again.
And this is going to be the fight to the top side. Sneaky with very little mana has to cut away from Jizuke, but look at the damage output there. The Flashy stays alive as Jensen is here to make sure no harm is done.
Very close pick there in favor of Jizuke, but a good flash from Sneaky will take him out of harm's way. A little overextended from the C9 AD carry though, and that could have been a big pickup if Vitality found that kill.
Acer Predator replay here in the mid lane. The hook almost landing, Jizuke setting up, ult down.
Yeah, exactly right. And that was the window that they were looking for. One more time, that reactive play that Cloud9 with his composition are able to execute on. Jizuke not falling down meant that the full of the Vitality lineup was still in retreat. Licorice able to re-engage and just be a nuisance. I mean, stopwatch into the revive, still able to continue pressure as a frontliner. And look at the zone he creates along with the Zillion bombs, allowing the rest of the Cloud9 lineup to press into that area. When Jizuke's that low, Vitality just don't have the space to fight.
And of course, after that fight, we saw Jizuke in the side lane. The 1-3-1 we're talking about, he forced a flash and a TP just for being there and got some really important cooldowns out of C9. These ways to win fights are still in both these teams' hands.
And that's why I'm saying that Cloud9 really need to understand where their windows are. now that Jensen doesn't have teleport and Jizuke's is about to come back available in a couple of moments, will really tell how patient this C9 roster is. If they're willing to bounce the waves and just catch and continue to scale in this game, or whether it is the play that they're looking for to try and accelerate the pace. I feel like the longer the game goes, the easier it is to execute upon the Cloud9's comp. Whilst Vitality still just need to play to the map.
I think Vitality need to move towards their side lanes, because what you'll see is that Vitality have been forcing a lot of mid lane fights. They've been trying extremely hard to take this turret down. They will finally secure it, but at the end of the day, Jizuke's level 13. Licorice has now joined the squad. There's no teleport available on Jizuke. I think they found Cabo.
Dangerous Cabo shard in, taunted up. They're trying to block any way out, and he cannot get the lantern. No, he does, as they just walk away and can't quite get him to click the wrong thing. So Vitality staying alive. The ult just to make sure he's safe. Did not want to be double stunned into the route for Sneaky.
But now Cloud9, they have priority over mid. They could look to threaten Baron instead. They're going to continue to pressure in the middle lane, steal away some of these jungle caps hook lands.
And a pillar there, but Svenskeren, yeah, they know he's right next to a Zillion, or assume that he could be, with most of it darkness there. And they're not going to go in for this play just yet. Still, this game only 800 gold apart. Vitality missing 2 ultimates, but they're not the most crucial for team fighting. It's Jizuke and the fact that Attila can auto-attack, the parts that matter most.
And so much of this game has just been around bouncing waves, jockeying position on the map and looking for your windows to be able to fight, that the Drakes were almost forgotten. Now Cloud9 do decide to pick the Ocean Dragon up off the map, but it does allow...
Wait.
This is a big play.
There's no teleport on Licorice.
Now he's going to have to make his way over. He can't even flash to burn it. He can't exhaust anything. So C9 have to 4v5 this Licorice on his way over. Not quite the stun. Down to 7,000. Vitality still waiting. Jack Troll on the front line. Look for the hook. Not going to find it. Their health bars wearing down a little bit, and they're going to be forced back. C9 successfully defend that Baron sneak.
And C9 will secure the tower in the bot lane. Overall, advantage gain for Cloud9. Vitality, they just wanted to try and force a quick reaction from C9. They weren't quite able to get much off the back of it, though, and Vitality forced to back off.
And you feel like this game is about to explode. C9 now lose their outer ring of turret. The same is mirrored on the side of Vitality. We've already talked about the control playstyle. Well, Attila got a Draven kill at about 4 minutes into the game. Since then, now has 260 CS. I think the next one's going to be a pretty impactful one for how the rest of the game plays out. And everything right now just hinges on that one play.
He has over 600 stacks.
Yeah.
If he gets a kill, I'm going to assume that's a lot of gold.
1,200, I think, plus the kill credit. I believe it's 2 gold per stack. Not much of a Draven player myself, shell-shocked and all that. I want to point out a very small thing. Licorice spellbook to cleanse and popped it immediately in base, so he cannot switch to smite for a little while here in case there is some kind of crazy Baron play. He's just chaining through summoners to get cooldowns back. And speaking of him, also now has gone for the Shrelia's Reverie, trying to find those hard engages, to put the goop down, and try to cut half those stacks off of Attila. Also
note how Sneaky is now caught up in experience thanks to the passive of Zillion. Even though he was put hard down in the laning phase, even though he's still 50 CS behind, Jensen is 2 levels over Jizuke, while Sneaky is now even with Attila. And this experience difference is going to mean a lot for the side of Clan9, because Jizuke doesn't have the same threat that he had in the previous game against Gen G when you're 2 levels down against your lane counterpart.
The items, though, are still growing for Jizuke, and yes, potentially Jensen can land the ult and revive a target, but Sneaky has not bought any MR, but we're already on Lich Bane, plus even more. Now Jensen's in danger, has to flash away the hook, not quite gonna land. What's the re-engage look like, though? A giant stun in the front line. Cloud9 got there first, and it's time for Cabochard to run, but first the turnaround, a big play for Jizuke. Does he get the assassination? Sneaky's running, but he's staying alive and finally shut down. Without the carry, that's huge. Jizuke got 2, they've got control!
And the Italian Stallion does it once again. He dives onto the back line. He takes out the bot lane of C9. Now Vitality posturing around the Baron. Extremely risky decision as Cloud9 still very healthy.
No ult yet for Jensen, but it's coming up quickly. And Vitality are hurt. It aggro's Baron. They're going to be pushed off the goop. They go for the play. They're going to try with Licorice. The pillar's in the way. Cabo has flash. He's going to get pulled back over the wall first. And will they get this kill? It's going to be close. The health bar running down. And he will actually drop C9. Manage to tie up the team fight. And with the top laner dead for a very long time, it's actually power play C9.
2 for 2 overall in the kills. Jizuke, yes, he does get a lot of influx of gold, but now Svenskeren, I believe he's hiding in that brush. I don't know if he wants to take this.
They're looking for the fear. Jizuke does not have the ultimate. He does not have a way out, and he's shut down.
And now both solo laners are dead. You can see teleport coming in right now. Cloud9 want to keep rolling with this one.
It's kills or it's Baron. The pillar means kills aren't very likely. The hook to buy a few more seconds. Yes, Kikis can go for the smite, but the flash is down. If they were tracking, they know it. This is a 5v3 for 8 seconds. Teleport available for Cabo Shard, and the Ward over the wall can get in the pit. We'll see if they're going to try, though. Licorice tries to build some space, and they're still wearing it down. Kikis, can he get in smite range? The flash in. They look for Attila, and he's completely gone. A rampage for Jensen, and they camp the TP. They cannot join this fight, Vitality, as Kikis heals up on the Licorice side.
And Cloud9, if they take out Kikis, there is no potential steal. Jack Troll, I don't think he's going to be enough. C9 looking to secure the Baron.
He's slowed from too far away. They're going to get the kill. They're going to get the Baron. Cloud9 might just punch their ticket to quarterfinals.
What a beautiful series of play from Cloud9. The flawless turn, the execution once again on point. And now with 3 members still dead, they can continue their push.
And you're even hearing "Let's go Cloud9" from the Korean fans and those who shipped over from the States and Canada and everywhere else who appreciated C9 here as they make their push forward. 15 seconds on 2 of the respawns. This seems to be at least an hip. And the pushback on Cabo Shard into the taunt. They could kill off Sion, but he's tanky, and Attila is here, and they've got to respect Draven. So C9 will buck off with just the turret. And now Jizuke, can he make the huge play? We've seen big comebacks here before. He shuts down one. Watch out for the ult. Now can C9 knock him down? Here comes Sion, and he finds the knockup. What's the fight gonna be? A revive on Jensen. Attila is on the hunt, and they're gonna look for more. A stun, a shutdown. He cashes in. Vitality are alive.
And somehow Vitality find a huge fight to keep their inhibitor alive. 2 members of Cloud9 drop. A kill goes over to Attila. A kill goes over to Jizuke. And now Vitality are the ones pushing.
About 30 seconds to play with 5 versus 3. There is a lot to do right now, and they're hunting Sneaky. This could be a catastrophe for the North American squad. As Sneaky will try to empowered recall. The pillar, it caught him, and Sneaky has no way out. He is certain to die, as they're going to try to make sure Draven can cash in, and Attila's even richer.
And for the second time this game, Sneaky is caught in a side lane. No Jensen this time to save him. Gives another 40 seconds for Vitality to continue the play.
Exactly that, Spawn. 40 seconds, no AD carry. C9, they had the Baron. They had the base of Vitality in their eyes and a quarterfinal spot. But with a huge team fight from Vitality, they're now the ones pushing. They have Cloud9's inhibitor in their eyes.
And at this point, the Baron power play is less than just Baron itself. So huge by Vitality to answer back into this one, and they're still going. 10 seconds on the respawn for Xayah, but there's no wave left in the mid lane.
Now the Drake has spawned, and I believe both teams are just gonna disengage and reset. Overall, the gains are still in favor of Cloud9. They're the ones sitting with the gold lead. They're the ones that have broken into the base of Vitality, and they've demonstrated multiple times in this game that a 5v5 fight will more often than not be won by Cloud9.
But they need to wait for Vitality to make the play, because we've seen time and time again that you need Jizuke reaching a little bit too aggressive, maybe an unrealistic defense of the structure. Cloud9 can put pressure, but should not be diving into this composition. Now with the gold lead, they can once again just take stock of where the game is at and look to force around the important objectives on the map.
And how much of C9 wants to sit in the fog of war here? They're showing Jensen, and they're going to show the rest of the squad now knocking down a turret. So a little bit of extra added to the Baron power play to end it all, and technically it's positive, but still a bit of a black eye. They're not quite what they wanted after that huge play in the mid game. But this game is 5,000 in C9's favor as Baron ticks down. They are still the advantage team. Vitality, though, looking at something with Licorice far away. And again, he cannot turn his teleport on. He's got Ignite on that other slot. But there is no engage.
But this is the thing, you mentioned it, Freak. The game is still heavily in favor of Cloud9. Look at how strong this Singed is. Level 18. He is sitting at a 5-1-3 scoreline. He has 3,000 more gold than Cabo Shard. In these team fights, even if you do kill him, he's just going to get revived. If Vitality want to stand a chance in these fights, they have to divide and conquer.
They're pressing the buttons, looking for the backline access. The flash away. Can they catch Attila? It's likely. He's falling, and they got the most important kill of the fight. It's up to Jizuke now against the world. looks for Sneaky, trying to chase him down, has to ult back. It's now a 5v3. Can Cloud9 make it the top 8?
The bottom lane of Vitality is dead. That win condition of the Draven now shut down, and they're going to look to push into the base.
Baron's timed out, but the chase is in. He's looking for a little bit of honey now. Beekeeper, Singe, and the rest of the squad looking to knock them down. One turret already out. Svenskaren's got a GA. He's about to lose that. The stun is there. Cabochard gets the shield. 5v3. The push continues. The taunt. The attempted kill. They're going to shut down Vitality. And Cloud9 pass the group of death and qualify for the quarterfinals.
And if you had told me at the top of the game that Cloud9 was getting through and Jensen was going to be the star carry of the team, I would have said you're crazy. But that is a miracle run, and that is a massive day for the mid laner of Cloud9.
3-0 on the day. Cloud9, they take it over Vitality. And they qualify for the quarterfinals. Such a huge win. Disappointment on the faces of Vitality. They had a great run, and their opportunity to make it to the quarters is still real. But Cloud9, they lock their spot in top 8.
Exactly. Vitality are down. They're not out. They are hoping Gen G beats RNG in the next game. But let us talk about Cloud9. Licorice, new to the LCS this year. Zazel, new to the LCS this split, joined part way through. And what a run it has been. Cloud9 3-0 in day 2 of the groups, or week 2 of the groups, if you will, the second round robin. Would you believe Vitality is the one that went 2-1?
And it is in such reverse fashion from where we're used to seeing North America week 1, normally on point, week 2, a little bit iffy.